We are links in the chain. Hey guys, it's Lily coming to you guys live from Las Vegas, Nevada.
And it's LindaRose coming to you live from Maine.
I am so excited for today's episode. I think we have some really great things planned, and I think you guys are also going to really enjoy it.
Yeah, this interview is probably one of my favorite interviews we've ever done because it was so much fun and the energy in the interview was so great.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. So we interviewed Willow and Jaime, which we're so excited to get to share with you guys. And Willow was just so adorable in the interview.
Yeah, she was so cute and she definitely she was so brave for coming on here for how young she is. She was really brave for doing it.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. I could not imagine myself doing that at her age. That's amazing.
Absolutely not.
So we're going to go ahead and queue up the episode for you guys to watch.
Hi everybody.
Thank you guys all so much for watching, and we're really excited to be able to come on here and do an interview with Willow and Jaime.
This is going to be such a fun interview and I'm so honored to interview you guys today.
You guys are both wonderful painters, and I'm going to go ahead and start off with a question for Jaime. Do you have like a certain creative process when you start painting? And if so, could you walk us through like what you usually do beforehand and how it helps you?
Normally I don't sleep very much. I kind of have a little bit of insomnia, I guess. I'm up and down all night long, and my creative process has the tendency of happening around like 1 o'clock in the morning. So, like I will either dream about something or something will just pop into my head, and I'm like, I wonder if I can do that from a different angle. Like, for example, not too long ago, I thought about, doing a painting of Medusa and doing it from a different angle, like she's misunderstood. I want to show her in a different light. A lot of my paintings are fantasy paintings. I do a lot of fairies and elves, and, I do different types of artwork. I do mixed media. I'm what you call a mixed media artist. I do sculptures on the canvas. So like my artwork ranges. You never know what to expect from me, I guess I'm saying.
Wow, and I've seen your Medusa painting, and it was just like it literally blew my mind. It was so amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know that like when I'm writing my songs, writing my poetry, I'll be getting ready to go to bed and then an idea will pop into my head, but like I don't want to forget it. So I'll get out of my bed and write it down. And then the ideas just keep flowing and I can't really do anything. I have to write it down so I don't forget. And it can get annoying, but sometimes that's how my best pieces come out. And it's such a interesting way that our brain works, but it's so much fun. Jaime, this is another question for you. Can you walk us through your steps or your prep for getting ready to paint?
I'm very chaotic with how I do things. I'm probably the messiest artist ever. I don't have things organized. Half the time I don't know where an item that I'm going to use in a painting is located, and then I'm like, fiddlesticks, where did I put that? Normally I try to pick out the colors that I'm going to use in the painting, and I try to have all the materials prepped. I prep my canvases before I do painting. Like, if I'm going to do a glitter background, I do that the night before I'm going to do a painting so that it has a chance to dry and the sealer has a chance to set.
Yeah, I know that my sister told me that that's some things that she does when she starts doing her paintings. So this next question we have is one for Willow. It's just so amazing and inspiring that you're painting this young. And it's just a really important message to people that you can really do anything you want at whatever age it is, even when you're doing something that you love. How are you able to pick something to paint, and what's your process like once you do pick something?
I like to paint butterflies.
And what do you do to prepare for your painting?
We get our canvas and everything set up.
Let me just say that the cat painting in the background is so adorable. That's one of yours, right?
Uh-huh.
I love it, seriously.
It's so amazing that you're so young and you're already so good at painting. I mean, your art pieces, they're just so good, and it's definitely gonna inspire some people that you can really just start anything at any age. You can do it at any age. And I just think it's so amazing. And do you have someone or something that kind of inspires you to paint?
Gotta think about it for a minute.
My mom inspired me to paint when I was about 2 or 3.
Wow, yeah, that's so good. Know that people in your personal life are always, it's really helpful to have somebody there just to start inspiring you. So that's just so great that your mom inspired you to start painting. So, yeah, so let me see. This is another question for Jamie. I was wondering if there's like a person or idea that like inspired you to start painting.
My mom and dad both have done artwork. Like they would draw things when I was younger. My mom would draw unicorns and lions and stuff, and my dad would draw, people. But my favorite artist would be an artist by the name of Jim McKenzie. He's a sculptor, and I just absolutely love his artwork. He's like a fantasy artist, and he comes up with ideas that you wouldn't even imagine. You'd be like, wow, why did I not think of that? He's one of my favorite artists, and he kind of inspires me to do the mixed media, because I'm like, he's doing these sculptures and he's doing all these amazing pieces of artwork. Then I can just, mix in sculptures with my painting and take it to a whole new level.
Wow, yeah, I've never heard of him, but I'm going to have to research it and see, because that just sounds amazing. I would love to see some of the work.
So, I'm guessing you obviously look up to that artist, but are there any other artists that you look up to or that inspired you to start painting?
I'm gonna have to go old school here. I would say Leonardo da Vinci, because not only is he an artist, he's an inventor, and I respect and admire that a great deal. I think that it helped him to achieve greater pieces of artwork, the fact that he was an inventor and he knew how things worked, like he knew how the human body, worked. So he was able to draw and shade, the human body perfectly, in my opinion.
Wow, yeah, absolutely. I wanted to go ahead because I had another question for Willow. I was wondering, like, what inspired you? I know you were talking that your mom inspired you to start painting, but like, was there like a certain idea or something that you had for your first painting?
I watched my mom do it, and now I love painting.
To add on to that question, I know your mom seems to be your biggest inspiration. What's the funnest part about painting? Like, what makes it fun for you?
I like to see how my painting turns out, and I like when we start painting.
Let me just say I loved that answer. That's so great. I know, like, yeah, that's my favorite. For me, like, whenever I sit down, like, I try to draw sometimes. The hardest part for me is starting. So I definitely love it when I do that. What's the process like while you're painting, and how do you like pull a painting together at the end?
Like I said, I'm a fantasy artist. If I'm doing a piece of a friend, like I just recently sent one of my friends, Ilana, she's in our social circles, a painting of her and her beloved companion Bean. And I don't like to just look at a photograph of the subject and paint the way that the photograph looks. I like to reimagine the photograph, and like it's coming from a storybook. I want it to look like she's in a storybook, and for it to be, completely different, a completely different aspect from the photo. Normally, to tie paintings together, my paintings are chaotic. My subjects are chaotic usually, unless I am painting, one of my friends, or even Willow, or painting one of my animals. Like, I'm going to be all over the place with the thought process. It could take me years to finish a painting, because I will look at it and I'll be like, I don't like that aspect of it. I'm going to change it, because I'm my own worst critic.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me just say that your painting of Alana and her dog, I just loved it. And I saw Alana's post and it was just so great.
Yeah. I don't know, something about it, like something about your paintings, like you make like you said, you sometimes look at a picture and you really make it look alive, like it's coming out of the canvas. I love your painting. I think they're so good.
Thank you.
Willow, what are some of the paintings you've done, or it could just be one painting that has made you super proud?
I did a painting of Harlow, and it made me so proud.
If I remember correctly, didn't you paint that one live?
Yes.
Wow, definitely. And that's the one behind you, right?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. It's just so adorable. I love paintings of cats.
Yeah.
Do you think paintings helped you in other like aspects of your life? Do you think paintings helped you anywhere else?
I like painting, and it helps me relax and slow down.
Yeah, I know that like my music helps me do the same thing, so I can imagine that it would be the same thing with painting.
Jamie, what steps do you usually take after finishing a painting? Like, what do you do to send it out to the person? Just what are those kind of steps after, even if you're keeping it?
Like I said before, I'm my own worst critic. It's very hard for me to judge whether or not one of my paintings are finished. It's hard for me to judge how well it looks, if I need to fix anything on it. So usually I ask Willow's opinion, or I ask my husband's opinion, and, get their opinions about my painting, because I will critique it to death, probably. I'll be like, this needs fixed, this needs fixed. I don't like the color of that. This needs changed. And it would take me years to finish a painting. So I always ask my daughter or my husband, or, friends on Facebook. I will send a copy of the picture and be like, how's this look? Honest opinion, please. And then normally whenever I package a painting to send off to a friend, I always, put a little note in there. I sign the painting. I tell them what the title of the painting is. I put a little, autograph in there, I guess you would say, a little note. And then I bubble wrap the painting like crazy, and I put it in a box, and then, I extra tape on it. People have complained about my taping process. I'm like, fair warning, it's going to be like breaking into Fort Knox trying to get into this box.
So I wanted to go ahead and do one last question, because we're almost out of time. This has been just let me say really quick, this has been such an amazing experience getting to interview you guys today, and I'm so glad we had some time to get to talk to you both. Can you share some of the positive experiences that painting has brought you?
For me, I get to spend time with my daughter, and it's a form of meditation, because the world is so stressful, and you have so many stressful moments that happen within a day, like, life 101. So whenever I paint, it's a meditation process for me. It lets me, kind of escape the world for however long it takes me to paint a painting. I can escape the world and go into a different realm, like a fantasy realm, and just kind of relax and just, have my moment of peace, so to speak. For Willow, what has painting done for you?
Painting has done for me we get to spend time together, and it helps me relax and slow down.
Yeah, I loved both your guys' answers on that, and I think this has just been such a great interview. And thank you guys so much for coming on and spending some time talking to us.
Well, thank you for having us. We're very honored and delighted to be a part of your show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, same here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
You too.
I just want to say before everyone leaves, Willow, with how young you are so brave to come on here to do an interview. You're younger than me. You inspire me. I would have never done this when I was younger. I think you're so inspiring, and I just want to tell you that.
Wow, I loved that interview so much.
I did too. I thought that interview was so much fun. I thought that Willow and Jaime did great, especially Willow seeing how young she is and coming on there and being that brave to just talk about what her process of painting and where she gets her ideas from. I think it's so amazing with how young she is.
Absolutely, and they had such amazing answers to all of the questions, and I loved all the little art thing at the end. Wow, they're both so talented with art. It's just so amazing.
Yeah, especially for how young Willow is, her art is so good. She's definitely going to grow up to be a great artist.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Jaime and Willow, for coming on and doing that with us. It was so much fun.
So now I'm gonna let Lily introduce this because she told me about this poetry thing this month. So I'm gonna let her introduce this, and she introduced it to me.
So this month is actually World Poetry Month. And yeah, so I think that's really amazing. So we were going to spend some time today and talk a little bit about some of our favorite female poets because since it's World Poetry Month, that would be a good time to do this.
Can I start?
Yeah.
So, I actually talked about this person on one of my lives. Her name's Amanda Lovelace. She's definitely one of my favorite poets. She has a lot of books out. You can get them on Amazon if you're interested. She's an American poet who makes poetry about uplifting women and making them more confident. She encourages them to not listen to people who say they can't do the same things that men can do. And she talks a lot about body positivity and a lot of stuff about that. People say that her poetry provides a safe place for women who are struggling. And she also does a lot of fundraisers and charity work for women. And she did a few protests throughout the COVID. And she did them live protests online. And so like I said, I did do a live of her poetry if you want to go check that out. Again, you can also get her books off Amazon if you're interested in reading some of hers.
I know I absolutely want to read one of her books, and I think me and my sister over summer are going to be doing a book club, and I think and she's having me organize it, so I definitely think we're going to read that book together because I think that would be a great one for her to read, and I would absolutely love to read it too. I'm going a little bit older because this is somebody I've been reading about lately in school. I wanted to take some time and talk about Emily Dickinson. I've been reading her poetry in school, and I've always loved her poems, so I wanted to go ahead and share some facts I found while I was researching. She was not a well-known poet during her life, but she was able to become one of the most important figures in American poetry. She wrote over 1,800 poems in her lifetime, but only 10 were published. and none of her poems were published under her actual name. They were published either anonymously, or some were even published without her knowing. Something I found interesting while I was researching is that Emily's life is literally documented in her writing. She wrote about the highs and lows in her life. She wrote some about when she was dealing with depression, and she wrote about the good times in her life too. I think she was also used her writing in her 20s and 30s as a way to escape events that were going on around her. And I think it's really amazing that she was able to use it as an outlet for when things were getting tough in her life. And 900 of her poems were written about the Civil War, and she wrote over 1,100 poems during that time of her life. Another little fact I found while I was researching that is interesting to me is that she wrote a lot of lyrical poetry, so that means it can be easily turned into the tune of a melody. Emily Dickinson is a poet who has greatly affected society and is definitely one of my favorite poets.
Yeah, I have read some of her poetry. She is a great poet.
Yeah, I know. I was reading one of her ones. I think it was really interesting. She wrote a poetry about different types of poetry, which was really interesting to me.
Yeah, she definitely has a wide range of things she writes about, and some of the stuff she writes about, you just wouldn't ever like it. For me at least, it would never pop into my head to even write about that. Like I don't like writing about different poetry, or writing about different types of poetry. I don't understand how you would do that without making it confusing, but she accomplished it and she did it great. So props to her for that.
Absolutely. So yeah, and thank you guys all so much for watching too. Make sure you guys tune into our episode next week for another really cool interview.
And we have decided to start posting TikToks next week as well. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that.
Absolutely. The TikTok, I think it's orchid.times.shows. So go follow that in advance so you guys will see when we post our new TikTok. And we'll also be posting it on our Facebook page. So if you don't already, please make sure to go follow it. We post new content on there and like videos that are really inspiring. So make sure you guys go check that out to see when we post new stuff on there.
Me and Lilly also go live on our page. So if you guys want to catch us live, you can also go watch our lives. And Lily's sister goes live as well. And every Saturday we do this event where people can sign up just certain times to go live for women to kind of show their art or something that they enjoy doing.
Yeah, so if any of you guys are interested in that, make sure you guys message Linda to get that set up for a time. And yeah, and if anybody wants to send in clips of their talents, make sure you guys send that into us. Facebook Messenger, Instagram, email, any of those work. Same with questions for the Q&A episode. Any of those work, just send them to us. We always love getting to answer your guys' questions.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We do have an art montage coming up. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Bye. Bye.